somewhere where there.
Well, it's nice since it's live. If we can't hear, we won't hear about it until tomorrow.
This ain't gonna do any different or whatever. You're like, oh.
They fix up.
When speaking, talk loud.
Speak up, bang on tables, get loud. With the iPad in the corners, make sure you're speaking up loud enough that it hopefully picks you up if you're saying anything.
Louder,
Chattering.
louder.
If I yell now, I'll be done, but good evening. John, you're good on attendance and everything? Perfect. See anybody here for open forum? So we'll go in with the monthly reports. So John, start with you.
I sent out the June minutes a couple days ago. I'm making a motion to approve those minutes that were sent by email.
I'll
John
second.
seconds. Favor? Good. Melissa, treasurers.
Alright, same, I sent out, financials for June, I think it was yesterday, does anybody have any questions? Alright, then I will make a motion to, pass through financials as presented.
Second. Favor? Good. Alright, we will skip on gambling, or do you want to just run that through? That's okay.
So gambling expenses for June were $70,870.83. So we'll do a motion to pass June expenses.
Second. Favor? Good.
Alright, then the projected, expenses for July are $71,000. So motion to pass those projected expenses.
Second. Favor? Good. Alright, District Dave, got any updates? I got a couple things too, but
Yeah,
maybe
just
you'll
a
have.
couple quick ones. Safe Sport, they've been getting a lot of Safe Sport filings the last couple of years as it really escalated. They want association to first deal with it internally unless it's something that's sexual or really crosses the line. I think they've been after that 1,700 Safe Sport reports, and a couple years ago it used to be 200 to 300. That was one thing. The second one was locker monitors. Another point of emphasis. Used to always going to be that we had set up something with an air shot to the coach. I guess last year there was some locker boxing and ended up getting paralyzed in a $6 million lawsuit that USA Hockey had to check for. So that's another point of emphasis. And then the last one was a brief discussion. They're proposing a rule where you can't have a gap in teams. You can't go like a double A team, no A team, and 2B1 team. I know last year we briefly discussed that, the association having 2B1 teams at the bottom level. They're talking about making a rule where that would not be allowed.
You could have two, but you can't skip a level,
Can't
right?
skip a level.
Right.
You have to have an A team and then a B1. You could go 2B1 teams to skip the A level.
Could you have double A, 1B, 1 team?
Yeah, you could. No, you could go do that. You just can't skip a level altogether.
And have two.
On two at the next level.
You could have one.
Yes. Well, we had a bit of a heated debate last session about that. Like a lot of, they want to make it for this upcoming season, like that's 2-hour tournaments, like the tournaments already booked. They kind of briefly tabled it. They want to have a discussion about that for future years.
And it makes sense, right? Because you run into it where you're playing B2 against somebody's 12 best player because they got 11 on their double A team. So it makes sense. Once they're ready to address that again, let's just kind of get a consensus. So when Dave goes to that meeting, he's got not just what does Dave think, like let's make sure we're giving him some guidance from our board on it. So awesome. Anything else? Okay. Couple things I had, and I think this might have been old. District was looking for level declarations for this year. It's never set in stone until tryouts are done, but we've already reported back to them. All the associations within the district are actually working together and communicating the stuff ahead of time this year, which is different than it's been in the past a little bit, which is nice. The other thing is District 1, which is in the St. Paul area, is looking for additional teams to fill out schedules at Squirt C and PWC. We talked about it with the level coordinators. They're looking, it'd be 3 to 5 extra games that would get added to the schedule. They'd be played there. Your District 8 games would remain priority. We talked about it with Squirt PWC coordinators. At Squirt level, we're not going to participate in that just because there is that game limit, and we're trying to get all those kids into Fargo where they could play up to 6 games that weekend. If all of a sudden they now can't play in their district playoffs because they played one too many games participating, they're no good. PWC, there's no game limit. Sometimes those teams don't have the go-getters as team managers and that, don't miss some scrimmage opportunities, so it makes sense to give them opportunities to play more games. So I'll work with RAP and District 1 coordinator on getting us in on the PWC part of that to add those games for those kids. So that's coming up. If anyone had any concerns or anything about that, I think level coordinator, I think we all were pretty in unison that it just made sense to maximize where it can't end up working later. Good. They will all be away games, so the cost won't be on us. Yeah, those games will all be in their district, so there's no additional cost to do it unless they get the extra games, which is good for them. All right, on to new business. Coach Dave May has joined us today. He came to introduce himself to the board for anyone who maybe somehow doesn't know him. So, Dave, the floor is all yours.
So thanks for having me out here. I was hoping to get out the last couple months, but I've had 2 meetings on the exact same Wednesday. So looking around here, I probably know half of you guys from coaching youth hockey. So I've been a part of the program for 10 years to the date now. So 10 years ago, I was an assistant coach for a couple years with my brother for 2 years. And I came back for my second stint, and then Coach Mako, he came back for a few years, and now I'm my third stint back here now as head coach. Extremely excited. There's a lot of good players, a lot of returning players from last year's team. A great group of bands that are coming up right now. Besides talent, there's a lot of numbers there too. So right now we have 57 kids out in our summer camp, which is pretty high. For example, 10 years ago, we went to the state tournament. I think we only had 30 kids try out that year. That's a pretty big, significant. You know, the good part, the bad part. The good part is you have to have numbers to compete with a lot of the big associations around here, or you have no chance. The bad part is that's 20 cuts right off the top. You know, so again, you know, that's the hard part of my job, my coaching staff's job, but we come to the territory, and that's what kind of makes programs tick. You know, with that being said, as far as like being with the youth program, I've been on this side too. I've been with the board. I've been on the for a couple of years. And the coach, these on down in the youth. You know, we have to find a way to do 2 things. One, keep kids here, because even the last 10 years we've had some phenomenal hockey. Not even the kids have transferred, but other kids have just kind of, after a couple of years, have left for whatever reason. You know, there's no blame game, but kids have left, whether they're not happy here, their team, who knows. But a lot of that starts with what we can do within this board, right? And I know firsthand for the 2 years I was on it, there's a lot that goes on in here that no one cares about or sees, or probably thinks that it's all agendas versus trying to do what's right for the bigger dream of people. I can go on and down the list of kids that started out in Squirt C that moved their way up to the varsity team. So when you make Squirt C, Squirt B, or Squirt A, it doesn't really mean anything at that point. Now, again, for that 1 year, it's a big deal. We have to keep these kids, whether you're a Squirt C kid and you're the 30th ranked kid or the best kid, we have to kind of keep them together and moving up at each level. Because inherently, because hockey, just because the cost of hockey, inherently people drop off anyways, right? If it's not in their passion to play, their parents probably don't want to fork over a couple $1,000 every year, right? I can go, my kids go play lacrosse and it costs me $300 for everything, and they're good for the year, right? So, but you have to kind of keep it wanting. And again, there's always that kind of tough part at the youth level is like, is it the winning that keeps kids here? Is it the inclusivity where everyone's getting fair time and getting a chance? And that's always that kind of balance, especially in a program like Farmington where it ebbs and flows. It's not Edina where every year you're going to have a team at every level. right? In Farmington, I've seen great teams, I've seen bad years, and it kind of just depends on the group of kids and the level at that point. So I'm going to do my best job and our coaching staff to really kind of connect us back again. I think when I came back with Mako, we did the mentor program where we always had at least 2 or 3 high school kids. At that point, I think we're going to keep this on down. We're going to try to do it still. It does get tight with some of our players just because they do have school. Besides hockey, they have school, right? And so I'm trying to get it so it's like 3 kids per team, so they don't feel overwhelmed all by themselves going. And Bantams are kind of over it by then. It's very important, I think, the might and score level more than anything else. And then Keegan is probably the third piece. I know Coach Holmes does on the girls' side already, so that's something that's covered. But that's a huge part of my program initiatives for next season. So that will happen. I know with Coach Mako, COVID kind of hit us his second year, and it kind of got out of whack after that. But it's important because a lot of the reasons why kids want to stay here is because they look up to these high school kids. If there's a complete disconnect there and there's no connection at all, then there's no, I know Crew, you played here. All you cared about was wearing that jersey, right? I grew up in Burnsville. All I cared about was wearing that jersey. That's it. I didn't care about college. I didn't care about pro. I didn't care about anything else. I just want to wear the Burnsville jersey. Now here, I want these kids to I want to wear this Burnsville Tigers jersey, right? It's a big deal, And I know this community is a community that really, really wants to buy into that too. So I think there's a lot of potential there. Last thing I'll say, so we have our coaching staff now. It hasn't been officially announced, and I don't think there'll be a big press release or anything like that, but the kids that have been out so far in SDP have seen the guys out there. So besides myself, Coach Dapper and Coach Buell, they've been with the program for the last 4 or 5 years. I know Dapper took 1 year off, but they've been known and they've been around here. Great coaches. Coach Buell's the goalie coach and does all the stuff with our youth hockey here. Jeff Weinberger will be our JV coach. Obviously, I caused a little bit of ripple because he was our PB coach. But he's a guy he started coaching his son probably 15 years ago. He's coached so many kids in high school already. He does a phenomenal job with a lot of these kids at the B level, where he's really good at cultivating that group. I kind of see a JV group, but making it so important for them to be a part of something versus just okay, we're the second group, right? It's the same old thing. You never know when that kid on JV is going to be the guy who's got to step up and play varsity. So I think it's very important to have a guy like Jeff in there who's going to do all the film, all the workouts, just like we would on our program too. The 2 new folks that came over, Nick Oslin is a buddy of mine from Burnsville. He played at St. Cloud State. He was a Red Wings draft pick out of high school. Played a couple years in the minors. He coached at Burnsville High School and Blake High School, and then the last couple years he took off to help his kids out. So he's helping us out. And then Austin Martinson is a guy who played for us in 2014-15. He was our captain, leading scorer that year. He went on to play at Augsburg, was an All-American Player of the Year in MIAC. And again, he's an alumni. This is important. This program is important to him. I want to bring alumni back. I'm going to have at least 2 or 3 alumni come back and be a volunteer coach at the JV level as well. Zach Willis was one name, and Ethan Harvey. So they're 2019 grads. Both played 3 years of varsity. They're going to come back on a volunteer basis for sure and help us out too. So I think it's very important as important as to bring the youth up and be connected, is to bring all the alumni back and be connected, because I think it's important to make it special, make it a big deal. Besides that, I'll try to, as much as I can, pop into these meetings as much as I can, and you'll see me around the rink all winter too. Last thing I'm going to say is, if you have any questions about either myself or the high school program, feel free to email, text. Half the people here have my number anyway. Send me a text. If I can answer the question, I will. If I can't, I'll respectfully tell you. But I'd rather have you do that than hear from somebody else or ask other people. I feel very comfortable if you come directly to me and ask the question. I can't probably tell you everything, but if I feel, that it's okay to be told or a piece of it, I'm more than willing to be transparent about it. That's all I got. Any questions or anything?
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you joining us. We will tap into you when we're getting into coaches committee, getting into coach selection process and stuff. Your input, I think it's valuable for that, right? You know, obviously, man, A and B's are going up to the high school team, but we want to make sure we're as in unison as we can so these kids are in the best spot they are when they do get up to Dave's level there. So thanks for coming out tonight, the introduction. Appreciate it. New/old business, just a reminder that as a board, we do need to be Safe Sport certified. We need to be registered with USA Hockey. I'm asking that we have that complete by August 15th. So if you coach also, register as a coach and then take your Safe Sport. If you don't coach, register as a volunteer. There's no fee to be a volunteer with USA Hockey, so please make sure you get that done. I think in our May meeting we talked about it. We were asked for the links. I did email those links out to everyone, so it's there. They've done some work on the USA Hockey website. It was not so funky and weird to get to my Safe Sport to renew it. I just did it yesterday, and I was like, hey, cool. It didn't take me 6 different directions. Last year was a mess. It was difficult to find the right spot, so please just make sure you're taking care of that. Once we get into tryouts and we go to roster teams, if our board's not rostered, our teams can't roster. Bantams are going to finish tryouts. A day or two later, they're going to be looking to scrimmage, so we need to get them rostered right away. So please just make sure you get that taken care of and be ready to go
We
there.
will get fined. We have been fined. We've had banned from playing right away. There's been a commission online. They've had score and racked out under it. And we made a fine. So each half, we have the rest.
You know how many blankets we got to sell to pay that $500?
Scott here.
A whole bunch more, so yeah.
And if your background check is due, then you do have to pay.
Is there I know in the past there's been a spreadsheet with board members' names on it, what we've needed, because some background checks have expired, some have
Yeah.
not.
Well, and last year with Lindsay Bjorkstrand doing the registrar, she was really on top of that stuff, so I'll connect with her, get statuses. I know so Safe Sport now is different than it was. It's now you do the core class, and then there's like 2 or 3 recertification levels, and then you have to start over again. If you were up for a recertification, I got an email reminding me, hey, yours expires July 31st. And so I was able to, okay, cool. Good thing I remembered this now and I didn't have to start over at the beginning one because the beginning one's long. Refreshers are long, but they're there. But it's a good call, Mike. So I'll connect with Lindsay and just make sure we get that, she'll be able to give us an update. So maybe I'll ask her to do an update August 1st to see where we're at. But if the rest of you just kind of work on that. Start with the USA Hockey registration. Once you do that, it kind of guides you to the next pieces you need. And if you know if you're a coach, you know your CEP number, your CEP lookup will give you a nice dashboard that'll tell you where you're at. So I'd take note of that while I take a breath here. Somebody added high school mentor scholarship proposals.
Yeah, so-
I will pass that floor while I write my note.
I'm not really sure where it was supposed to be filtered in. I want to make sure it was before we decided on budgets. So I know some of the stuff that Coach May had mentioned. I want to introduce or propose a high school mentorship scholarship. So I know the girls last year were incredibly involved. Guys, the team not so much. Looking forward to them getting re-engaged, but we have girls that were carpooling with each other to make it to the late games and traveling with them and are still getting together with them for parties and taking rollerblading, etc. And so they're really going above and beyond. And what I want to do is I want to get 4 scholarships going on an annual basis for mentorship and essentially a coach or parents. We can get it out either way. We can work on the details later, but they would do a Google form, talk about the participation level, reviews on how they acted or interacted with the kids, how they were a good leader on the ice for them. And really the objective is to get more engagement. I know we're really successful on the girls side at a couple local levels, but to increase that more as well as getting the boys to engage. But it really helps us with their player development. I know for UA it was crucial to have those extra hands on the ice. I can't stop because one kid's not getting it, right? Like grab the kid, go over there and work with high school player to fix your stride or work on a stop. And so it really helps getting more hands on deck for those levels where we kind of struggle getting really good participation. It also is a great opportunity for a funnel for coaching. There's times when we're really struggling to get people engaged with coaching. This helps solve that, not this year, but in the future, right? I know it was mentoring a team that got me excited about coaching when I was a younger kid, and was able to roll right in, the year after I graduated high school. So there's a coaching pool that can get developed with that too, build the confidence. And also our commitment to player development for those high school kids, right? Just because they're not part of our program anymore doesn't mean that they're not important to us. And if there's one thing to know how to play hockey, it's another thing to try to teach it. It really elevates your knowledge and gets you guys to the next level when it comes to being able to teach somebody else how to do something. And then really kind of, again, drive the community, right? So just getting kids to fall in love with the high school kids and to get them excited about that. I mean, I got my daughter's a borderline stalker with all the high school girls. Anytime she sees them in Target, we got chasing down and talk to them. She can't wait to put a high school jersey on. So it's just some of those types of things. A lot of the stuff that Dave teeing a lot of it up, but I'd like to propose $4,000 scholarships or just give on an annual basis. And it'd be, more details on that or the dollar amounts. But I'm not really sure what it means for how we would issue that in order for it to qualify for a scholarship. I'm not really sure about those types of logistics, but wanted to get it out there. I don't know if anybody else has any additional thoughts on that.
Right, like you have to be like a senior, because I know this year the girls only have like one senior on the team.
Yeah, so I mean, with the girls program, that's going to continue to be a struggle for, it's going to ebb and flow, right? So I think that just anybody who participates should be eligible for it. I mean, I know that for me, in my experience, I was able to get scholarships as early as second grade. So that's through like the AU alternates on this but I don't think that age should be prohibitive. It would be a struggle for the next couple of years for the girls' side to have enough seniors to qualify. So I think just anybody who's available. I mean, those seventh graders that were, or seventh and eighth graders that were available for those who wait, I mean, it was glowing reviews, and they're still building those relationships on a monthly basis with those kids. So that's really where I got the idea from, and that was our youngest group. So.
How they decide to receive them?
Yeah, so we would have to continue to work that out. I'm open for suggestions. I was hoping to get a Google form put together, and then either the coaching committee or the player development committee would vote on it and propose it, or we can do an overall board review. Mike, you-
Rosemont Youth Hockey Association gives out 4 $500 scholarships to graduating seniors who played in the youth association, and there's a scholarship application process that I can get. We can modify it to fit the sort of the mentor theme of the scholarship. But yeah, I think there should be some application process. That makes it a lot easier for us, other than just looking at the name and going, I drink beer with this guy and this guy. So, right, I think if we have an application process, we can, one of your committees that you mentioned, we gotta look at it.
Yeah, and then even the coaches, they could write a letter of recommendation
Absolutely.
too.
I think that should be required.
That should be required, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple different ways we can skin the cat. I just wanted to get it out there. I think it's important. It's piggybacking off of the boys' initiatives this year, and then the girls have been re-engaged for the last couple of years. So it's, it deals with a lot of the things that we're talking about that we bring in player development, coaching, that type of stuff. So.
Just need that they want to talk about the funding that we have already. Whether it's another fundraising,
Just money.
those states are
Right. Yeah, so there's some logistics to work out to it, but that reciprocation to the high school program, right? We're asking these guys to come help motivate our youth, and yeah, there's a benefit there because that helps build our numbers, better our counties, better our talent, all the stuff that goes into it. But at the same time, these high school athletes, to Coach's point, they have classes. Some of them have to go to jobs. We're still in Farmington. Some of them got to go to the farm before they go to school. It's something, and the ones who show up once or twice to meet their requirement don't really get vested in it, probably aren't filling out the scholarship application either. The ones that are doing stuff in the summer, coming to the summer camps, they're the ones that are going to be hungry going after it. I don't think you deal with it, it's only for seniors. I think you can be any age, preferably seniors, right? I mean, just to kind of a final thank you for all the time and effort by the time they've gotten to that point. But we do have some logistics going on. Where are we going to fund it from? If it's $400 or $500 scholarships, it's $2,000. It's not earth-shattering money. Do we host a bingo night with the goal of raising that money specific? And that bingo night is specifically for the scholarship fund. or do we decide any sponsor that their pull tabs for that year are for that? You know, so we need to work on that stuff. The good news is we're not having this conversation in February as they're wrapping up their seasons and looking for it. I think it's a great idea. It's a great way to build that whole thing where we bring it all together from high school down. But where we get the money from is important, and then the selection process, we should be very diligent about it. An application or letter of recommendation, not just a dart at the board, is exactly where it should go. So,
There be some sort of app that when it drafts, because I think if we're to start looking at this at the girls' side, and what is wanting to be done on the boys' side, we should think about this as a whole.
yeah, like
Fiscally, what do we honestly, if how many boys and girls, how many, how much they make, to
is it
be honest.
2 on each side, or is it some years it's 3 on one and on the other? You know, there's
Get together and draft up a plan.
yeah, I don't think we're ready to like motion vote and approve it right now, but I think it's a avenue we should walk and come to that point where by the beginning, middle of the season, we have a plan to be able to do that. And fundraising, it's gonna be a big piece of it. We don't want to start doing that and passing those costs on to our families by raising their rates or anything like that. So any and all ideas are open to it. I'm happy to help with that piece. Sounds like Mike's gonna do some over at Rosemont, which we'll probably have by the time we dismiss tonight, so. Great idea though, thank you, Lindsay. Alright, committee updates, Melissa, tryouts.
We are in a pretty good spot tryout-wise. We're working on still kind of finalizing that schedule, getting some details with football hashed out. And hopefully by next week, we meet again next week, we'll have a pretty good solidified schedule. Run down a couple wins. And then on the lower level side, that one we're pretty well set. I got finalized times from Dakota, so we can go ahead and set that schedule. And then our plan is pretty well set up with that one too, so we're really in a good spot, I'd say, for this time of year.
So player development, Nick, you're up.
What was up with the tryout days?
September 16th
I was
through
like,
the 29th.
notification, non-stop, I was like, oh my.
It is.
Tim, did you put in the?
Yes.
Okay, so they are locked in.
Yep, that ice time's there. Just need work on who's going to coach certain sessions. Start with the head coach, and then collect volunteers from there to kind of fill it out, and then figure out we got to work with John, get a registration posted. We'll register that through the sports census will pass, right? So that'll register through the website. $60 the right amount.
$60 for 4 states last time. That's why we got those.
Those dates I sent you, those dates are locked in according to what was that ice. And if you want to rearrange skating what days or whatever, by all means, I just kind
Have
of
the dates. I appreciate those because I'm getting questions. Doesn't matter like when who's skating when, it's fine. So we can arrange.
in the 4 weeks. Short dates. Monday and Wednesdays, 4 weeks. It's the short dates. Yeah, but a while ago, it was like 2 weeks and 2. No, it'll be the girls, because where our numbers are at, U10 and U12. There's no sense in having each one have their own session if there's only going to be 8 girls out there on the U10, right? So that'll be kind of a combo practice. Whoever's coaching it can split them up and do drills that are tailored to each age group. Yeah. I think it started separated, and we're like, this is sick, let's bring them together. So it's like girls and squirts would be one night, and then Pee-wees and Bantams would be one night for the 4 weeks.
Pee-wees is usually the one that sells out the fastest.
Probably not, but we can sell them all. You're buying two.
paid enough for one piece.
Perfect. All right, coaches committee, John, you're up.
Yeah, okay, the coaching application was updated and it's up and running for the coaches for 2024, 2025. I think we already got about 9 or 10 coaches already, just for today alone. Thanks to John, thanks to Matt for sending out an email push and a social media push to get coaches to sign up. The trials are less than 2 months away, so the more we can get, the better we have with coaches. We got an interview on Friday this week for the U12A position. We don't have any candidates or any applicants for the Pee Wee position, so again, keep reaching out if you know people for the Pee Wee.
So I got a question about that. So we're comes to advocates or PEs. So worst case scenario, if there is a non-paid, who's like not one person reached out, right? To that position. Right. So if no one reaches out, and does it default to a coach or a parent? She's gonna ask him. And then you'll run into some like this part, you know, where people do the trial process and things like that.
Yeah.
Are we putting the advertisements in?
We have one advertisement on MinnesotaHockey.org or something like that. There's quite a few associations looking for all.
Finder groups, the AAA groups.
Yeah, the usual spots.
Yeah, we should
Yeah.
probably share them out in there again another time. I know, we reached out to the recommendations you had. If they weren't interested, we reached out and contacted some other people.
Out of curiosity, the feedback from random, consistent.
No, it's
Like
just,
nothing we can adjust.
don't want to take the commitment. I got kids playing at a different level, different times, different places.
And we're in the same boat as a lot of other associations. They're all looking for the same position. So, got an email last week from PJ Conley confirming he's going to come back and help us be assistant for the band of AA. And then let's see here, USA Hockey can have level 2 and 3 CEP clinics in August. So, a reminder, they're going to be closing those CEP clinics at 12:15. So we got to keep pushing the coaches to get their CEP done before 12:15. Otherwise,
On that, those coaching distribution lists still work for next year. I don't change those until I get my coaches, so just keep using it, share that stuff.
okay, perfect. Otherwise, that's the update for now.
Kenny, real quick, you're going to go back to players out. We don't have to explain it, but the other teams you get to the micro sport levels to help with the structure for the coaches who are just volunteering, they haven't coached before, whatever the case is, but just have a little more structure to it. You open it up into the dry land facility. Whenever we can, just water, put eyes on that.
Yeah, shooting lanes. Yeah, shooting lanes and a gym floor size. We should be good to go this fall. The simulator portion of it won't be, but the space to do the shooting lanes and all that. Yeah, should be ready to go for this fall. I talked about this morning. So, what is space is it?
We have practice.
Meeting with manager next week.
And then one of the tools
No, this space should be there. We're still the details on what is our involvement and whether we're getting into homes in Badger next week.
I just want to know a timeline and then just accessibility. Just be able to give details on.
Yeah, it won't be just an open door. It'll be like we'll have to schedule teams in there or whatever. But should be able to schedule every team like once a week for 45 whatever. So any stick handling, dry land shooting drills, you post a little guys up on that because not every coach is gonna be comfortable with teaching proper shooting techniques. I don't think they just sit there and whack, run a slap shot for hours. I mean, I think you put a glass up in there so you just that sweet sound of hitting the glass.
with that said, so if they schedule the teams, will it be any hours outside of the team that something is
Yes.
scheduled?
Yep. Yeah, the space is gonna be available for rent.
And then,
As long as I'm open, if we're gonna supply some equipment, our rental fee isn't the same as if I just call them.
right.
So that's own private entrance. They need to get into the school that access it.
Right, you can enter right over by the southwest corner of the football field.
And the final item was the rink grass program. Bring that back. On that. Checking out the sponsor.
So yeah, so I'm real close on locking up the original initial sponsor to get it going. And then obviously once we get kicked off, then we should try some people. Once that initial one, we'll give it the cost. It might, sure, I know, have you been able to get the cost of the board for the rink rod?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries, take your time. So basically, I'll get that as a sponsor to get that next time on it, potentially after that initial sponsor talked about. Maybe like play or somebody's sponsor every year to keep it going. So he's off the board.
Or sponsor like a Chick-fil-A or Kohl's or something like that. It's a good idea because maybe they'll get some coupons for the kids, right? If you complete this, you're gonna get a few ice cream coupons. Like we've got a couple places in town that sell ice cream. Won't name any names here, but I can tell you later.
Depending on the size, you're looking at about $8.50
Okay.
for something that's about 6 by 6.
Did they ever tell you what it would cost to like add or price do like single pieces?
Well,
Like,
that's super cheap. That's $20-$30.
A year.
Yeah.
If you go to award, get little plaques to screw into it or something.
Yeah, so you put, let's say we had 30 kids get the rink rats, you get a plaque about this big, and it just adheres on $25-$30 for that.
beautiful. All right. So I'll circle back, get that locked up.
We still need to measure the spot in the arena for this, and I just from the eye test, I think it would be kind of cool to do it right above where the high school storage is. There's a big white space. The other spot could be up behind the bleachers where the college pictures are, somewhere out of the way. Not
I
out of
like
the way.
the one where the kids congregate.
Right by the storage area.
Where the kids
And that's out of the reach of
My name's
humans.
up there, where are you? I love it.
Right. We'll measure it out.
Okay, sounds good.
About 850.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Mike.
Sorry I skipped over you, Nick.
No, we're good.
Thank you for the updates. I appreciate that. Alright. Melissa, budget, finance, grants.
Not much, just now with registration open, we have a pretty steady income coming in on pretty close to daily basis as registrations. We always get the vast majority of our registrations the last 48-ish hours. That registration is open, but we've been getting pretty consistent need of funds. That's helpful.
So level coordinators, as we get closer, I'll wait until probably a week before when we have 65-70% of the registration, being optimistic. I'll spreadsheet it out. Just want everyone to take time to go through your level and look at the counts who's there and compare it to what you know of the level or pull up from Sports Engine and help you get the data from last year. And let's just make sure that anybody who's missing that we're expecting to be there, that they're not just completely missing it. Last year we went into Pee Wee tryouts missing 5 kids that there was no way they weren't coming. They were just not practicing. So that's something we should really be diligent on, especially if we can help get those people to register before they got to pay late fees. So I'm happy to help you pull the data off Sports Engine from last year. And I'll spreadsheet out by level what the registrations are looking like as we get closer. So just keep that back in mind as the coordinators that we want to do that. Capture everything.
I inherently registered 3 to 5 players after finals, so that'd be nice to have.
15
yourself a note, like when we get to maybe around the 25th and then around the 1st, just a reminder, 2 weeks left, or maybe even set up a plan to do a countdown those last 5 days. To Vanessa's point, they all come in at the end. And I get it, because you're registered, you just paid for football, you just paid for something, you just got all your fall stuff out of the way, and here it is, hockey's knocking on the door too, right? So they'll be at the last second, but anything we can do to just overdo it is awesome. So far, communication's been great. Today we got 115 signed up, so it's a pretty good start. I think we're gonna come in right around 5. Last year, we were right around there.
About 525 until June 18th. So the last few years, we've kind of been on the downward trend. 530. That's including, that's all of it. So including multiple things. So for social media, would be great. More is I have contacts from people who've already registered with us. So that's what we send out emails until everybody's registered in the process. We still go out to people who've never played, but thinking of playing. The only way for us to get them is through social media.
So things like the signs and stuff that was in the past, those don't work.
I don't think we've ever seen any huge jumps in registrations because of that. But they do a really good job of coming up with like new advertisements. So one thing that might be good to do is like this, like in one of them you discuss like what the expected cost might be, or what see here or something like that. I don't know. But a lot of the questions we get from the younger people are like, I don't know what it takes. It seems expensive. Especially push ponies is free.
And I don't know, we might be jumping ahead into the next one, but we talked about putting signs back up just so you're getting some people. I don't think it hurts. We also signed up with an ad, we had the ad books that comes out in August, because we're trying to target those new families. So it's fine that upper level is already closed, that numbers we're trying to target. So that was submitted back in June to get a half-page ad.
The slippery slope is, once you've signed up, and if you've ever registered for a tournament or a Mike Jamboree, you all of a sudden feel like you're a member of every association out there because you get their emails. Those ponies and incoming mics as first-time players, that's where the community ad, that's where social indoor, those are the ones we're trying to get out of that. Otherwise, you're going to get every email reminder we send if you've registered with us, right? You're included there, so if we don't get that one out until then, it's fine, right? Because I bet 3 people asked today, what's the latest I can register for ponies? Because I'm doing the Little Wild program and I can't be registered in an association. You can register for ponies 2 weeks into it. If you want to play ponies, I want you on things. Come on out. Try it, fall in love with it, enjoy it. So, in Bites, same deal, right? Registration for Bites closes technically never, especially for the grade level A's.
Registration.
You know,
We would like them to come in on a day.
I'd love to see this association at a place where we were refusing registrations, like that we had 10,000 kids playing. But ain't
Generally, the
gonna
ones that
happen.
are registered last, generally they're the lower, the kids on the lower teams, because they're deciding at the last minute. They're waiting for their buddies to decide for their kids, so get them in a group, whatever.
Alright. Amy, fundraising, marketing, all the fun stuff.
I feel like I need to kind of stand up. Okay, so first things first, due days recap. I think this is probably the best due days we've ever had. I mean, I think because we were doing it, so it's only getting better. So thank you. It's not easy. It's a lot of work. So thank you for everyone that stepped up and helped out with that. This isn't a fundraiser. It's more get our name out there, get kids interested. But we did, I think once all expenses were paid, it was about 1,600, not including the blankets, is that right, Melissa?
Yeah, it was somewhere around 1,500, I think, not including the blankets, and then also they might know the expense for the company or
So speaking of blankets, I mean, that was a huge success. We had people literally it opened at 3 and they were there at like 2:45 and they bought several blankets. So I think we're gonna order 75 more. I think we have about 15 left. So we'll push those at the open house, Christmas time, hopefully get rid of those. Beer bash. So the beer bash is the marketing team met and we are going to do a theme for the golf tournament and the beer bash. It's gonna be 80s theme. So it's gonna be smack back with the 80s. Mike Casano, I think that was
Trying.
your artistic
You gotta
flair.
bring something to the table.
Right. We are going to need all hands on deck. I don't think we're going to need a ton of people for the beer bash, but the beer bash is the day before the golf tournament. So we're going to need people, and I think a lot of our volunteers will be fine at the golf course setting up Friday night. But I'm going to get a sign up genius put together so it'll be available just a little bit on Friday to help wherever possible. The beer bash, Jordan, I think is 7 to 10. But I try to achieve that. It is homecoming that Friday. There's just no perfect time that's going to work for everybody. So we're working around that.
Yeah, I have them all in my closet,
But I'll
so-
confirm the time. I just don't have it in my notes here.
Well, she only needs to make.
All in all,
Sponsorship.
just that whole weekend, just as a board member, our job is to fundraise and get
If
stuff.
it's a tiny
That whole week, block off your life. I think we're looking at that Tuesday, September 10th, as an all-association parent meeting. And then we've got Friday, Saturday.
I don't mind reaching out to Jen and asking her.
Yeah, so other than tryouts, that's it.
And then next week is the high school boys big beer bash.
Yep, and I'll be there. There you go.
To touch on the boys, so I haven't got with them, but I know that their ticket sales at due dates was really well. They did ask if they could sell at the golf tournament. We decided probably not because that's a huge, we sell our 50/50s there, but we're gonna offer a table at open house for them to come and sell there. Sponsorships, again, huge. If everybody could try to bring in a small sponsor for the golf tournament, a gift basket, several, the more the merrier. We have our helpers, volunteers, all counting the pavement. I sent out the list earlier to everyone on the board, so if you know somebody, fill it out. Melissa has handouts for the sponsorship packages. I know we got people that asked us that to email out. I sent them out to email them. Whatever would be great.
Just a question on that, John, is there a way to see if somebody signs up as a sponsor? Had somebody come in and he said he thought he did it, but
Yes, so did you send me your, so I asked everybody to send me their emails that they got the crossbar with. I was waiting for a few more, as soon as I get those, everybody will get access to the website, they can see the registration.
beautiful, you got my, okay.
So far, we have 2 hat-trick sponsors and 2 just individual teams.
So we really need to start pushing the golf tournament. I know that you're on that for social media. That's kind of, you gotta get that filled up and all of that on there. Going back to the beer bash, I really tried hard yesterday on whatever ticket companies that I used to make tickets for the beer bash, something along the lines of this, and they gave me this at the meeting. So I'm just not artistic. So Matt has volunteered. I'll get you all the sign-in info, and then I'll get it to Melissa. So if you can just create it, Melissa will have to take it.
What's the best night?
But we'll work that out. I'll tell you everything, but we do have poor cousin John lined up his band, so, we'll include all of that on the tickets and I'll send all of that to our social media too. Cost is gonna be $10 prepaid, so we're all gonna just try to sell the tickets or we post it out there for people to get tickets from board members, getting back to the golf tournament, we talked a little bit on that. One thing that we're doing, and I handed out, I don't know where it ended up, like Lucy. So we're doing, I need to take that back to Tina, but because there's only a meal included at the turn, we're not doing a big dinner like we have in the past. We're gonna try to put together like a good bag to keep people hydrated and fed throughout the time, because there's a lot of people to eat too. So I just guessed that, and Tina went and ordered a couple of those, I think, or maybe just that one. Just ideas, we're gonna put those in a goodie bag, but if anyone has ideas on anything
have someone that wants to donate stuff, can I send them to you?
Yeah, anyone, really, but yeah, give them my info and I'll pick it up or whatever. But yeah, the more, that's where we make most of our money is that science promotion. So the more we can get, hopefully now that we switch venues, it'll be a little bit better. Did we get the tiger costume? Okay, so I'm just throwing this out there right now. The marketing team talked about this. Where I ordered a tiger costume, Matt has volunteered to take ownership of it. We're gonna throw out a contest to name it for the little kids, things like that. We're really gonna try to get involved in varsity games, and but I think it's a good idea just to some contest. Maybe they win. I don't even know what we decide if they win something. But yeah, concession. Yeah, concession. I think we've talked in the past about Mike ordering the concession cards, so maybe they get one of those. So I'm sorry, work has been super crazy. I just put all of this together today as far as the agenda. So I think I missed anything marketing wise, fundraising.
The only other thing we mentioned is we're gonna order a jersey for this tiger, so if you get sponsors, the sponsor would be on the jersey running around the arena. Because the whole thing we talked about this tiger was like, it's gonna show up at bike practices, it's gonna show up the ponies, it's gonna show up the games. And so it's like gonna be the voice of the association. Because I don't know if you've watched me on social, I try to talk like it all the time instead of like, hey, here's what's going on. I just make stupid comments on a tiger with big paws or something like that. So it's coming to life. And so we figured we let people vote and just goes back to that whole pride thing.
Again, getting the littles as well. But yeah, otherwise driving the younger families, younger parents, Mike's TVs, Mike's ponies, all those terms that are really familiar with the golf tournament, just getting them signed up and getting them in the family. And even if they're not, they don't have kids that play, but you have their friends that might have kids that want to play in the association, get them signed up for the golf tournament.
I think if we could get the 80s and put it as a fun event, not a such a competitive event, so people who shy away from it because they think it's high.
The age is very competitive.
It's for a few people.
I'm talking rules.
And
Last
they
year,
still can be.
we had a rule like could get worse than a par. With the winning team at a bogey. Well, I'm still kind of upset about that. Todd Hembrack.
Oh, speaking of Todd Hambrick, so we also talked at our marketing meeting of getting like an MC. He's done it before. He's great at it. He has committed to MC full. We'll see how it plans out. Both the Beer Bash and the golf tournament. We'll see how he's doing by the end of the golf tournament. But yeah, I think that's all I got. Any questions? Comments?
So you can buy those punch cards online, $35 for $40. The questions come up is, do I really have to go through all the information and stuff? Crossbar, some of the downsides of Crossbar, you have to do it. If you're working on building registration where you don't have to do that, it's not done. So if they can get that soon, that's fine.
Otherwise, we just sell them at the concession stand.
There'll be
You can buy them at the concession stand.
And
open house and concession stand is the idea. Working with Craig on the back side of purchasing things, but that's logistically fine.
okay, thanks.
Excellent. Great. Tournaments, any news?
No updates on tournaments. I think all of them are reconciling tonight or tomorrow, but I think we're lead time on hotel blocks. Yeah. I think I got mine too. You guys were probably. Yeah, I did all the ones that I have. Okay, so we're complete on hotel blocks. So brought to you order one. No, hotel right up.
Yeah, all the bathrooms.
I want to go to one or two in the woods.
Yeah, so yeah, I can share the sheet with you. I did post everything on our last meeting notes, but I can give you the same document I gave you Mona. So
Gordon, all things apparel related.
Dave's are all for your jerseys, so please don't get size. Tell people to spread the word.
And people that give it a deadline.
probably the end of August.
Jordan has a squirt spot.
Yeah, or you can, or size change. Anything else? That's it, alright. Ryan, facilities?
Feasibility study underway. Not study, underway.
So they've taken the check.
They have everything they need.
That's what we see. That's like months long.
For the first
Which is great. It's a start, right? We can just sit and blindly say we need, at least take it a step down the road. So, thank you.
Quick question, is there anything we need to do with Schmacky? Anything, I know you're talking about this and that, just walk around, see traffic.
We'll talk offline. We have our annual capital donation to them. They want that. I want their ear. There's busted plexiglass behind them, working at things like that. That should be addressed.
There's a single over there.
Yeah.
Find you made those two sections on it.
Dude, we talked about them fixing that when I was there.
But I have to anyway, so I'm holding on.
So you know, it's kind of like,
You gotta bring that guy in, the home inspector, goes to the fine tooth comb.
I don't dare poke a hole in one of those walls.
Something come out and get it.
They do it really early in the morning and check the bathrooms first.
It'll be, it's that time of year, but it needs to be talked about because there's things inside the rink, right? You know, we voted, we talked about last month, how we're donating a capital budget to Burnsville in exchange for locked in ice time. Within 24 hours, I'm doing this needs repair, we're putting it towards this, everything they're gonna do. That's what the donation to Farmington is, the same thing, it's for capital improvements and maintenance on the arena. I personally, I get a little worked up about broken plexiglass on a sponsorship banner on the boards. I see a kid getting hurt there. That's not okay. And it's not a matter of is it our liability, their liability. It's a matter of kid gets hurt playing hockey. Why doesn't he want to come play hockey? Unless it's a really cool story about something that happened, right? Oh yeah, our boards were sharp.
Can we set like a punch list? Like, okay, once you get half of this done, we'll give you $5,000. Once you get the other half done, we'll give you the other. If it's $10,000, then we get some free.
We can try. I mean, it's a nobody who else needs to
When was the last time that contract was revisited?
It's up in 26 to 28. Because they went and should have been up at like 27 and then they
So, I've been on the board for 12 years and we've donated $120,000.
Have you seen a list of anything they've done?
I mean, I haven't seen anything that they've done, let alone a list. They can't, a new clock, yeah, they got a nice new big clock. That's been a real game changer for our families. You know, a list is it has to happen. I mean, all they're doing with that $10,000 is padding their bottom line. So they can go back to the city planner, David McKnight, and say, hey, look, we were plus 38,000 this year. Well, you were plus 28,000 with your city donation, or getting them closer to zero in certain years. That's all.
Somebody asked us for if we would pay for a water heater or something last year, 2 years ago or something on top of the $10,000, and I did.
Yes.
And that's what the 10 grand is supposed to be for, is for those expenses. And
Capital improvements, you know, like light bulbs, things like
Just to
that.
make you happy. Right now, we're just working for the county.
Good. We did a great job here.
So it ends December 31st, 2028.
Way away. Yeah. By that time, it'll be dark in there.
There'll be some new time with $10,000.
Oh, yeah, they got
Aliens, yeah. See you tomorrow.
They're on that grade, like,
Yeah, I just like to take a peek at it, you know, is there a clause in there about maintenance concerns as they come up and whatnot, so, you know, I don't wanna just go in there demand, if there's language that says it should already be there, it's more than a demand, it's a, you're not holding up your end, we're gonna avoid this and have to come up with a new one, right? But we'll go offline and talk with them. Alright. And Jordan, anything on Tiger's one agreement? Shouldn't be, it's that time of year, right? Alright, levels,
Tim, before we go into levels, I don't know where this fits, but we have applied for the Blaze Credit Union Community Impact Grant. This is a grant for basically anything, community and economic development. But so I wrote it up as we are trying to reach out to an ever-changing Farmington community and engage young children in something that they may not have been exposed to before. It was submitted 6 days ago. I got confirmation. Just waiting to hear how much, if any, we get. So that would be money that could go towards basically anything we wanted. So that could be a fundraising committee conversation or a development committee conversation.
it's a potential avenue for scholarships. It's a potential avenue for equipment for scholarship players.
Was that you have to, they qualify or have to.
Yeah, so we're just for tax exempt people in Dakota County, along with other counties. Yeah, so our organization did all the models and bills that we needed. So
Thank you for doing that.
yeah,
I sent it to you in the class.
no, it was great, and we'll see.
That's awesome. Alright. Lower level? U10s? Do you have a finger on the pulse? I know we're looking at one team. We have for sure a goalie for that team. Does that still look good?
I don't know much about the U10 level.
Okay. Woodbury reached out today. They're looking for goalies at old age, and 15. But they also feel they're going to have an abundance at U10 if for some reason we want to win that. It's not a natural partnership close by or whatever, but just something to bear in mind. That goes back to just reviewing the registrations as they start to come in. Raise the flag as soon as you feel like there's something to be concerned about there. So we can find solutions. We got nothing in squirts. 12 and 15. There's 16 registered and 15 right now. It's a really good number. It's a really good number. So we'll have a Farmington Tigers and 15 again, which is a good thing.
Just looking at that list, are there any of them that are also trying out the high school
I
program?
haven't looked at the list. In declarations, it was about a third of them that were going to try out for high school. So I think we're still in a comfortable spot when all said and done, but
Great.
not to be seen there, but looks pretty good. John, anything with Peewees? Rob said there's nothing with Bantams. Junior Gold still too early to have anything.
Much early, but the good news is, in a bad way, what Coach May said earlier, that how many games he's going to have to let go. We're standing at the door saying, hey, hockey's not over. So it's great. It's bad for some things, but it also bodes well for our program at the youth level.
Absolutely. And if we end up with two teams there, that extra ice on Tuesday makes it really good.
They all well.
So Alright, old business, just a reminder, we talked last month about CPR and AED training for association. The cost of the American Heart Association was extravagant. He's emailed me every other day, 5%, 7%, 10%, 15% off. If he gets the 50% off, maybe we revisit it, but Lindsay, you mentioned maybe having contact if anyone else knows somebody that can train, even though it's not OSHA certified. We're not looking for certified. We're just looking to tell our family, our community, like, hey, you know what? This is important to know because you never know when somebody knowing what to do makes the difference between life or death. That's another thing. You know, just yeah, no. So just keep that in mind. You know, if anyone, neighbor, driveway, having a beer with the fireman or whatever, and ask them just anything we can do. I mean, it's great for our community to know that if something happens at the rink, the odds are that much better. Keep that top of mind. That's all I got. Jen, did you have anything for scripts tonight? Since you're here, we'll give you the opportunity.
Do you want the numbers? I have the numbers from here.
I'd love to hear the numbers.
So if you don't know me, I'm Jen Taraki. I run our script program, which is buying gift cards on an online app, and that's all you have to do. I take care of everything, pay ice bills. This year, for ice bills paid, I paid $22,950 to our association in all different levels. We have about 50-ish very active families that are usually every month I'm paying at least $50 to. We have a total of 155 active families, so that's a good number that we have. The $50 amount was a good choice to go down to. More people are seeing it every month, so I'll keep going with that. And then this spring, I think it was either May or April, they made a QR code, so it's no longer an enrollment code that I can't like put up on a poster. So I'm going to make a poster for the hockey rink that all they have to do is scan the code, then it'll take them right to our association's registering for scripts. So it'll just be up for them to use whenever they need it. So.
Well, once we get through the registration push, I think we should maybe work with our social resort team to have that part of our rotation. Especially if we have any local businesses that can be used. If you're not using it, use it. It's so awesome. Stand at the check stand and get 5, 10, 8% back on whatever you're buying. So, awesome. Thank you. Anyone else have anything additional to cover tonight? Okay. Adjourned is seconded and voted on in favor. All right. Thank you.
Did you get a hold of, are you
See you, buddy.
Yeah.